What do you regret finding out? My father never wanted me, or children at all, and actually told my mother that if she had me, he'd spend his life making both of us miserable. She was convinced that once he saw me, he'd change his mind. She was very, very wrong. That my mom knew my stepfather was abusing me and did nothing. Edit, I wish I could respond to everyone, but to be honest I don't know that I have the emotional strength. This was a random comment that I did not expect to get much attention. Thank you to those who have given support and kind comments. Fuck you to those who have said I should have done something more as a 10-year-old kid. And I am so sorry to those who have had to deal with the same thing. I wish I could fix it for everyone. I know that today has been painful reading everyone's comments and stories for me. I am so sorry. Heart, I'm going to take a nap and turn off my notifications. My ex said not to worry about a guy when we were together, and she ended up marrying him after 5 years. When I was around 10 years old, I was sitting on the couch and my older sister came towards me with a knife and stabbed her hole in the cushion about a foot from my leg. She pulled the knife out and immediately told me not to tell Dad. I was young and naive, and my sister had kind of twisted sense of humor, so I really didn't know what to think. It definitely did some damage now that I look back on it. Years later my sister announced that she had planned to attack me with the knife, but chickened out at the last moment. At this point I had all but moved on from the incident, but this brought it all back and then some. My dad mentioning how tight my mother is. Thanks Dad. I always blamed my best friend's erratic behavior on mental health issues until one day I found her passed out on my toilet and realized that her behavior always got erratic after bathroom visits. Unfortunately, she may have mental health issues, but an addiction to certain drugs was the reason for most of her behavior. Finding out my ex had slept with my uncle and 3 of my friends. That my ex sabotaged a condom to try and stop me from joining the military. How good it feels to be high on opiates. Edit, after 10 years of addiction I have over 3 years clean now. I need a 101% on my chem final to get an A. Realizing I'm not all that okay with being a loner. It was easier when I didn't care that I had very few friends. Frown. That my dad abused my sister. This comment is kind of maybe blowing up, so I wanted to clarify something. I wasn't the one that found out. My sister confronted him, one of the bravest things I know of, and legal proceedings began. One night my mom got all of us together and told us what my sister and her boyfriend were doing in the bubble bath. My brother's girlfriend's NSFW Reddit account. It's supposed to be a couple's account, so you might guess the horrors I saw in there. What tinnitus is. Now I can't stop hearing it. Frown. The details of my parents' divorce. Thanks Mum. That I'm not very smart. I'm not dumb or dim, but I've really had to come to terms with the fact that not only am I not the smartest man in the room, I'm probably damn near the stupidest. Learning from my sister that my father told her that my mom's mom was not paralyzed from the waist down because she fell off a fence, it is that she was beaten so badly by the man she was seeing at the time. How many cockroaches there are in Australia? The one that climbed my foot as I sat in the evening gaming freaked me out. That my dad is not my biological dad. That I was the asshole in my relationships. Turns out I've become the person I was afraid of becoming my entire life, my dad. A jealous dude with anger management issues who never sees his own faults. To be fair though, I've come a long way since my best friend straight up told me what I've become, and that if I stayed that way she was going to stop being friends with me. I guess I don't regret finding out because it helped me get my shit together. However, the fact that you were the asshole and you were the reason some of your friends cut ties with you is a pretty hard pill to swallow. Especially knowing that you'll never get to make it up to some of them because it's been years. Why should they care at this point? How horrible the procedure for taking out your wisdom teeth is. I have to take them all out, so 2 weeks ago I went to the dentist in Europe. Here they don't use laughing gas but just a local anesthesia. I thought that they would take a scalpel and cut away till my tooth came out and then sew it up. Little did I know that they used almost a screwdriver to bend it out and afterwards a plier to bend it out even further. The dentist just leaned in my mouth with what seemed the strength of a million suns and cracked out my tooth while I was lying on the bench sweating profusely out of fear. I still have to take out 2 more on my left side. What the Mr. Hands video is. When I was about 14, my mom took me to a tattoo shop to get her nipples pierced. While the procedure was happening, she turned to me and said, "Your dad bites harder than that." I could have lived without that info. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more.